I am absolutely over the moon to have friend of the program. That's right, Mark Titus of the Titus and Tate show on here. We're going to talk Big Ten basketball, Michigan State basketball, a little bit of Maui. We're just going to do it all. It'll be a hoot and a half. Let's get it.
Are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
The greatest people of all time. Yes, the viewers, the listeners of Locked On Spartans, but also this gentleman right next to me, Mark Titus, Club Trillion of the Titus and Tate show. Just a trivia wizard on the bar stools that doesn't, if you ever catch any of those shows. What doesn't he do? Enough of me talking. You guys are all here for him. Mark, how on earth are you doing, man? You doing okay?
I'm doing fantastic. It's it's the heart of college basketball season to me. I think most people get fired up when March rolls around, but
Sure.
This is the time of year where I get most excited, because you get a lot of teams that are starting to believe in themselves, and then conference play rolls around, and the water finds its level, so to speak. So this is a very fun time of year. I know we got Christmas break coming up, but we're transitioning into, for me, what is the most fun year part of the year for college basketball.
And how has the year just been treating you so far? Like, has this been a fireworks sort of year for you? Or
Yeah.
has everything kind of fallen in line where you thought it would?
When you look at the preseason AP poll, if you're a believer in that kind of stuff, and most fans will say a lot of fans will be quick to say that the AP poll means nothing, but they always wait to say that when the number one team loses 4 games in a row, and then they like to point out that it means nothing. When you get a year like Gonzaga a couple years ago, when they're preseason number one and go undefeated to the title game, those folks didn't really talk that much about how the preseason AP poll is stupid. But no, I mean, if you look at that, like with Carolina and Gonzaga being 1 and 2 entering the season, and neither one of those teams look anything like one of the 2 best teams in the country. And then you got surprise stories like Purdue and UConn, obviously, who I think is the best team in the country. Even Virginia, I think Virginia fans will tell you that they were fired up about this team. I don't think they saw this coming from Virginia for them to be in the mix for the number 1 ranking. So, there have been a lot of great stories, and some teams have fallen off, some have risen to the top. But like I said, when conference play rolls around, it's really nut cutting time, and we'll find out how real some of these teams really are.
And the college basketball season also starts great for you because you take that pilgrimage out to Maui for the Maui Classic or the Maui Invitational. I forgot what the official name is, but look, we'll get to Michigan State basketball talk here in a hot second, but just please hear me, everyone. MSU goes there in 2024. I have never been to the Maui Classic. You have been a handful of times. Is that right? I mean, you've been.
I have. Yeah. I've been a couple times. It is. I almost run out of words to describe how incredible it is. And whenever I talk about the Maui Invitational, and how much I enjoy the experience of going there, the obvious reaction I get from most people is like, yeah, that's a sick island, man. Like, it's paradise. I've been before. I went on my honeymoon. It's really cool. And I don't want to like downplay. That is what makes it partially cool, is that it is paradise and you just, perfect weather and the beach and all that kind of stuff. But the basketball that goes on out there, people look at me like I'm crazy. The atmosphere this year when Arkansas played Creighton in the Lahaina Civic Center is the best college basketball atmosphere I've ever seen in my entire life, in any venue, any game ever. And I've seen some things. I'm not the oldest guy in the world, but I've been in some pretty sick college basketball atmospheres, and that one was number 1. And I think there's just something about that place, man. It's mad. Like, the players play looser. The fans are so fired up. Like, if you think about it, there's a natural filter for the kind of fans that would show up at these games. It's like only the diehards. So the only people that go into these gyms are like the biggest fans of each of these teams. So when the games get going, it gets so loud. I was there in 20, I guess it would have been 2019 going into the 2020, the Cassius season, the final Cassius season.
There we go.
When Michigan State was out there. And you guys lost to Virginia Tech, I think, the first game.
Sure did. Yep.
Yeah, a little upset. Yep. They kind of put a damper on. I remember Izzo wouldn't let his guys in the pool. That was the funniest thing. I was staying at I was staying at the same hotel as Michigan State, and it was so funny to watch the Michigan State players come out, and like I forget who it was. I saw one guy put his feet in the pool, and that was like it was like the saddest thing. Like his girlfriend or his sister, somebody's like swimming in the pool, and he wanted to get in the pool, and he's just like sitting on the edge, and he takes his sandals off and puts his feet in, and that's the most he could do, and because Izzo would punish the guys, but. No, man, I would say any Michigan State fan that is the way I describe it. Like I don't want to downplay. I know it's expensive. I know it's like during the holidays people have plans. I don't mean to say that like those things aren't true. But if you're someone who's on the fence and you've ever thought about going and you have the means to go, you 100% should go because once you go, you're like, I can't believe I thought about doing it last time and didn't do it. Like, what was I thinking? I should be here every time. So. Yeah,
that's what I had to hear because look, we have 2 years to finance this trip, and I'm down to like sell part of my liver. So like that's my question is like, is it worth Oregon black market sales in your opinion? And it sounds like
I mean, sounds like I am not a doctor. I don't want to advise elective surgeries.
That's fine,
but at the same time, for me personally, I might consider it. Yes, I might for me.
Duly noted. Right, jot that down. So. One of my favorite things that you have said in the past, we talked about this last time you were on, which, holy smokes, you've done this show twice now. God, wow. What generous or
Where's
very bored
t-shirt?
person.
Where's my recurring guest t-shirt, man? What the hell?
I'm going to send you this pint glass right in the mail once we're done recording. It's great. I'll send it through the dishwasher, too, beforehand. One of my favorite, I was going to say conspiracies or jokes, but like this is getting more and more credibility as time goes on. And you know where I'm going with this. It's years ago you said that Izzo, when he has a hot start to the season, he'll have an injury to a star player. He'll sit out a few weeks, and then this will iron forge the team so they're even better when the star player comes back. Self-produced adversity, if you will. Mark, we've seen 2 starters from Michigan State so far leave for at least 4 games. Jaden Akins missed some time. Malik Hall's missed some time.
Yep.
AJ Hoggard got benched. Tom Izzo benched his veteran starting point guard. Am I in the right to be worried that Tom Izzo's gone into his bag of tricks too early this season and he has got nothing left for the rest of the year? Or what?
It's slightly early. I will say it's slightly early. I like to see this out of Izzo early January, mid-January. Right. This does feel a little early, like a month too early. But no, I mean, one of the gifts I have is I am fluent in Tom Izzo speak. It's something that I was blessed with at a young age, and I can sniff out what this man is trying to say, what he's trying to do at all times. This is manufactured adversity, the likes of which I'm not sure I've ever seen. He's taking it to a whole new level because this Michigan State team, you talk about question marks coming into the season. Like I didn't think the Spartans were going to be bad. I don't want to exaggerate here. It wasn't like I was saying this team's going to miss the tournament, but boy, there were a lot of questions. Like last year's team it felt like a team that was searching for an identity the entire season, never really found it. You lose a few guys. You do have pieces coming back, but there's question marks about like Sissoko, for example. Like he's the guy you turn to and you're like, you have to be our anchor down low. And you're looking at Matty Sissoko and you're like, can you do that? And he's like, I have no idea. I will find out together. So I think going into the season, there were so many questions, and out of the gate early, the early returns for this Michigan State team were incredible. I thought, I don't know how the fan base felt, but like, obviously the Kentucky game and the Gonzaga game, you lose, but still like the way you played. And for me, it was like Sissoko, especially early on, was like, I thought if he's serviceable, Michigan State has something. If he's a guy who does not have cinder blocks for hands and does not foul every time down the floor, I think they might have something. And that Gonzaga and Kentucky game, I was like, this guy is beyond serviceable. He's like all Big Ten, like he's playing out of his mind. And I think like the questions we had about the Spartans coming into the year were answered way too quick. And I think that's what made Izzo hit the injury button. I think he did. I think like he was like, this is too much too soon. We're peaking way too soon. So why don't we go ahead and lose by 20 at Notre Dame? Bam, I'm going to hit the button.
Absolutely. And hey, was it 3 games in 4 days in Portland? Who needs 2 stars? Alabama, they're not that great.
They're not. There's a football school. We'll be fine.
Sure. Hey, everyone, we're going to be right back with Mark Titus here in a hot second. But first, it is the holiday season, which, of course, is a perfect time to remind everyone to drive sober or get pulled over. You're hanging out with some friends and putting back a few drinks, as you do during holiday parties. A few becomes too many, though, and as the evening comes to an end and people start to head out, well, you think of calling for a ride. Nah, come on. You live nearby. You can make it home okay. It's no big deal. And besides, what are the odds that you'll get pulled over anyway? And even so, what's the worst that could happen? Your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you lose your job, you total your car, or you kill someone. Everyone knows about the risk of drunk driving. The results are tragic and very often deadly. However, that still doesn't stop everyone from getting behind the wheel while under the influence. And that's why police officers are out there right now looking for impaired drivers on our roads to save lives. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, please think again. Play it safe, plan ahead, and get a ride. It only takes one mistake to change your life or the life of someone else's forever. Drive sober or get pulled over.
No, but I think like what I've seen out of Michigan State, and I'm not just saying this to make you feel better or the fan base
please,
feel
even
better,
that's
but
welcome.
It's I think it's the up and down nature of the season so far is not a surprise to me. I think this is what, like, if you got Tom Izzo behind closed doors and like really wanted the truth from him, I think you would say that like he sees this as a marathon, and he sees the Spartans have pieces. There's no doubt in my mind that the pieces are there for this to be a good team. I do think there's an obvious ceiling. I think you start like if they start piecing it together, winning games, you're still going to have to like have the reality talk with yourself that like you don't have, I don't think, the talent to win a national title on this roster. So I don't think, like, let's not get too carried away if they start rattling off like, you know, they beat Illinois and then Purdue back to back, and, you know, like they start, and then Indiana, you know, let's not get too crazy. But I do think there's a great team there. I think that a Final Four, if they did make the Final Four, especially with the Izzo pedigree, like I would not be surprised. But this is a work in progress, and I think with the injuries and with the roles we're trying to figure out, there is really no alpha on this team. There's a few guys that like think they might be the alpha, but I don't know if those are the guys you want to actually go try to be the alpha. And then like the guys you want to be the alpha, like a Tyson Walker, who I think is like the most talented. Like he's the guy I look to every time I watch Michigan State. I'm like, please take over this game. What are you doing? And then he just seems to be like, I don't really need to. I'll just shoot when I'm open. So I think like you sort of figure those things out. And if you be patient, if you're patient with this group, there should be optimism. And I think like what I've seen so far, I'm actually, in spite of the Northwestern loss, in spite of the Notre Dame loss, you know, I know that it did not look great there for a stretch. I'm actually optimistic from what I've seen so far out of Michigan State.
There we go. And because, you know, we're just a mom and pop podcast over here. We're very, you know, low on the totem pole. You're up there. You're of Titus and Tate, for crying out loud. So I need you to help me form opinions here. I need to look up to a mentor to look for opinions. So I should feel happy about the start of the season.
Well, what I think is going on with Michigan State basketball right now is you lose Cassius, and you lose them in under circumstances, as we know, with COVID. We don't get the tournament. We don't get the final Cassius Winston NCAA tournament that we were all hoping for. I was hoping for it. I'm not even a Michigan State fan.
Right.
And you're sad for him, and you're sad for that whole deal. And I think like if you're someone who you know, the sky is always falling, you would say that the program, because not long after that, the Amani Bates saga happens, which was a bullet dodged, but at the same time, it didn't feel like that. And you know, we shifted as college basketball shifted into this new era of name, image, likeness, and transfer portal, all this stuff. And your head coach is like proudly sticking his chest out saying, I hate all of it. You know, like he's like, I will not play by those rules. I will play by my way. And so I understand why there might be a propensity around the fan base to be like, are we lost at sea right now as a program? Are we kind of, you know, Cassius leaves, it sort of feels like things are falling apart. And I understand the standard at Michigan State is Final Four, is compete for national titles, is win Big Ten. I don't think like this team. So in that regard, like, I don't think this team is a team you point to and say, that's a team that's going to win the Big Ten. That's a team that's going to, you know, but if you start like being a realist about it and start like trying, if you actually want to put on some rose-colored glasses and find some optimistic silver linings, all that kind of thing, they're trending in the right direction. I guess I'd put it that way. Like this team to me is trending in the right direction. I think you're going to end up by the end of the season being better than last year. It's just going to be a little rocky of the road to get there.
I had this conversation with someone like 2 days ago. Like, it's just like a more fun team to watch this year. And I know that's like such a lame baseline to have of what we're looking for, especially with the team that Final Fours are pretty cool, but like,
yeah,
it's been a tough 3 years, but like, yeah, I feel the inching upwards at least. And well, the recruiting class next year doesn't hurt things either, of course. I mean, that's going to put a smile on a lot of people's faces. But like, sticking with the Big Ten, this is another opinion that I'm going to need a lot of help forming right now. Okay, so I went into the season. I think a lot of people went into the season thinking that, it'll be a down year for the Big Ten. We're looking at 6 teams in the Big Ten ranked in the AP Top 25, 2 more getting votes. Michigan State being one of those teams. Look at us go. So is the Big Ten actually up this year? Is the nation just down? Like what?
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. This is the problem. How do we define a good conference? Because
I don't know. I don't even know.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I do.
If you are of the opinion that a good conference is a conference that has a lot of like multiple national title threats, I don't think the Big Ten is good this year then, because I don't think I think Purdue's obviously in the mix. They're the number 1 team in the country, but even then, like, honestly, ask Purdue fans how they feel about this team. They're like, we're having fun. And you're like, yeah, but do you think you can win the national title? They'll say, whoa, pump the brakes.
Yeah,
we're having fun. Okay. Like, let's not talk about that. We're having fun. Let's just leave it at that. So like, even Purdue fans aren't like trying to, think that far in advance. Other than that, like, Indiana was the team that I had circled a lot of. I mean, they were picked to win the league, but they were the one team I circled as like, this team could win the national championship. I still think the pieces are there for Indiana, but they're dealing with a little bit of an identity crisis right now. Illinois has the talent. There is 0% chance Illinois can put that together for 6 straight wins. There's no way.
I
like, Illinois.
Yeah.
Illinois on paper, and even like you catch Illinois on their best night, you're like, this is a national title team. Like, they could win it, right? And it's like, no, they can't, because wait till their next game. They're gonna mess it up. And outside that, like, I mean, Maryland had a hot start, but like they're not national title good. My Buckeyes, I'm optimistic about what we have. I like the team. We're not winning the national championship. Michigan's been disappointing. So like, you start going down the list, you're like, there's no real national title threats. But having said that, the league is incredibly deep. I do like a team like a Penn State, who you guys beat at Penn State. That's a great win, man. This Penn State team is good. Maybe great's a little strong. It's a very good win, though.
Great.
We'll say great.
It's great.
But that's like, Penn State's an example with Jalen Pickett, man. That guy is incredible. If Zach Edey fell off the face of the earth, Jalen Pickett is my Big Ten Player of the Year right now, and I don't hesitate to hand my trophy to him. He's been incredible for them. But that's an example of a team that I think, like, if you're not paying attention to Big Ten basketball, you see like Penn State or like a Nebraska or Rutgers or something are giving these teams good games. And instead of saying, oh, wow, Penn State must be good, the conclusion is, wow, Indiana must suck if they lost at Rutgers.
Sure.
And really, if you actually like pay attention to Rutgers basketball, Rutgers has a good team. Rutgers is the Rutgers program is in a great spot. So that's really where we're at. And that's like the frustration as Big Ten guys is like, we know that this league is good. Like, we watch it every night and you're like, there's no off nights. I guess Minnesota might be an off night, but, but otherwise there's like, you can't take any nights off. But then when March comes around, if we don't put 3 teams in the Final Four, the rest of the country's like, your league sucks. You haven't won a title since 2000. Never mind that like every damn program in the league has played for a national championship. We're 1 game away, and we always lose the title game.
Exactly.
So I think I'm with you. The league, like, I didn't expect this many teams to be. I think there are a lot of teams that are better than I expected. But unfortunately, to get the final step to getting the respect is like actually competing for national titles. And I think this is going to be a year where we get like 10 teams in the tournament and we get 0 in the Final Four, and then everyone says Big Ten's overrated, Is
it going to be another year where like 10 teams make the tournament and then 9 don't even make it to the second weekend?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's
the one team in the Elite 8 is Michigan, who is a 10 seed,
11 seed, right? Yeah, exactly.
Like, damn, what the hell is this?
Yeah. They get paired up against a Mountain West team again. Rick Barnes gets to play them in the second round again, which that always goes well in March.
Yeah,
so,
in Indianapolis. Yeah, they play in Indianapolis, even though
they'll just play it in Ann Arbor. Like they'll just actually
they're playing in Detroit somehow, and you're like, what? They're playing San Diego State in a 7-2 game or a 10.
Yes.
Yeah, it'd be a 10-2. They're a 10 seed. They beat the 7 seed, and it's now a 10-2 game. They're playing San Diego State in Detroit. And San Diego State's like, what the hell is this?
It seems too real. Like it feels like it's the third weekend of March. And I'm watching this happen in front of me now. Like this seems all too real.
San Diego State's not getting a 2 seed, I guess. I'm sorry. Bad. Sorry. I don't want anybody to call me out on that hypothetical there. Okay. Sorry. Continue.
And we're going to be back with Mark Titus here in a hot segment. But first, just need to talk your ear off about betonline.net. Woo! Not a lot of Michigan State sports going on lately, like 3 basketball games in 3 weeks. But hey, that doesn't mean the sports betting action is dead. It never is at BetOnline. Jump on the World Cup bandwagon with me. France, Argentina on Sunday. I'm going with France to win 3-1. And those odds at betonline.net, 28-1. Let's throw a few shekels on that. It's going to be a fireworks show of a game on Sunday. Well, hopefully. But hey, if you think it's going to be low scoring, betonline.net. If you want to bet on basketball, hey, bowl games are happening. BetOnline.net is where to do all this because they are your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, analysis, props, futures, lines, you name it. BetOnline.net's got you covered. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from pro football, college bowl season, basketball, and World Cup fever. They've got you covered at betonline.net. And if you love sports podcasts, which you're about 20 minutes into one right now, I really hope you do like sports podcasts. So I got good news for you as well. They have more of those at BetOnline. We're always the fastest and easiest way to get in on all the sports betting action. So what are you waiting for? Head to the website today. Use your mobile device. Learn more about the trends and action. That is at BetOnline, where the game starts. Well, no, I know what I'm doing with this next question. I'm just pandering right to our fan base here. Maybe you'll enjoy this as well, but hey, Mark, who's the Big Ten team that's been really underwhelming this year? Is there any team that you look at and you're like, wow, how are you guys not better?
What
are you going to say?
Might it be the Michigan Wolverines?
Oh, is it? Wow. Okay. Well, you know more than me, so I don't know. I'm going to let you handle this.
Might it be a team that, a team with I don't know. Michigan is the problem with Michigan, and it's going to be interesting moving forward, especially now that Llewellyn towards ACL, which
right.
You never want to see.
We are anti-injury on this podcast.
We are definitely anti-injury.
Yep.
We are pro watching Michigan nosedive. We do not want it to happen via injury. We want it to happen because they're frauds and they don't know how to play basketball.
Amen. Here.
Michigan's issue, I think, moving forward is like I don't think they don't have shooters. They don't really have playmakers outside of Jet, who's good, but like show me. I want to see the data on guys who run the offense, who are the coach's son, who are also like trying to get drafted. Like how well has that worked in college basketball history?
Boy.
Where the coach says, "All right, son, you get the ball, you go make all the plays, and I'm going to trust that we're going to continue to also win games as I'm trying to like help my son get drafted at the same time."
That's tough.
It's not a great list of that. So Michigan is I'm scared to like celebrate too much because it's a long season, and Hunter Dickinson is very good. I hate that man. I do not try to hide my feelings towards him. He's enemy number one in the Big Ten for me. But I respect the hell out of him, and he's added a lot to his game. Somehow he's kept it a secret all these years that he only has his left hand and can't go right. And for some reason, like, I don't know how it's happened, but like, no, none of these coaches seem to quite understand that. But no, Michigan, I'm not ready to bury them yet. But at the same time, Michigan is definitely the team that's like got a lot to figure out. And if you're a Michigan fan, you're like, yikes, what have you seen so far? This might be a long season in the Big Ten.
Anytime like a review of a team starts with, well, they don't shoot well and they lack a playmaker.
Right.
Well, yikes.
I mean, Michigan, like I think I also just think that like the reliance on Hunter is going to be interesting moving forward, because I think like Michigan with Hunter Dickinson kind of in Indiana with Trace Jackson Davis are in similar boats where they have a big man problem, and the problem is that their big man is way too good and he needs touches and you have to run everything through him. And and it's just very like this Michigan team kind of does remind me of Indiana last year, or where weirdly, it wouldn't surprise me if like Hunter gets in foul trouble one game and like those guards like suddenly explode and Jet's like, all right, now I'm gonna go off and I'm gonna really, because that happened with Indiana a lot last year. And it's happened. We've seen it with like Illinois with Kofi Coburn. There are times where like Kofi
Yes.
Gets pulled out of the lineup for whatever reason, and all of a sudden you see like the guards that like used to like just kind of, I don't know, they weren't quite as fluid. Suddenly they look like completely different players. And I think that's where Indiana and Michigan are at. It's like a really interesting problem to have because you have like an All-American caliber big man, but at the same time, he's kind of clogging everything up,
And that's why Mady Sissoko, after 30 combined points against Kentucky and Gonzaga, I think that's why he's slowed down a little bit, just to make sure that the rest of the offense flows as naturally. It's a calculated, downward trend that he's on right now. So
if I remember right, Izzo drew up the opening play of Kentucky. I think you guys won the tip, and the first time down, they feed the post to Sissoko with Sheboy on him, and I was like, whoa! I was like, listen, he played well against Gonzaga, but like, hold on,
set the tone. Yeah, that's right. get him going early. No, and like Izzo can't stop doing that. Like that's our first few possessions is just going to Sissoko, and if the first shot goes in, it's going to go great. And if it doesn't, then, here comes 2 points, 9 rebounds on 1 of 5 shooting. So, regardless, we've talked a lot about Mady Sissoko on this program this week. There's no good segue for this next question. I just got a really random question. And I'm sure you get this all the time. Like, what's the toughest venue that you get into when you're a team going into a Big Ten arena? That's boring. I want to switch it up. What's like the most flaccid atmosphere that you have ever gone into as a player on a Big Ten road game, for example? You just walk in, it's like, this isn't even fun.
There is no doubt about it. The answer is Penn State. Not even that
close. Easy.
And I think Northwestern is an answer that a lot of people expect, but Northwestern, at least like the gym was cozy and small enough, and It's in Evanston, which is close to Chicago, obviously, and you get actually a lot of like when we would play there, we'd get like a lot of Ohio State fans that live in Chicago would come to that game.
Gotcha.
So it would slowly like actually fill in, and like it didn't really feel that empty and whatever. Penn State is in the middle of nowhere. The people that do live there do not care whatsoever about the basketball program. It is the quietest Big Ten arena I've ever seen, and it's crazy because I think Penn State has something, man. I think the program's in a great spot. I think if you made me the commissioner of Big Ten basketball and I could just like I don't know, I could just snap my fingers to make like the product across the conference better. I would tear down the Ohio State gym. I would tear down the Penn State gym. And I would build, like, look at what Houston built. And if you watch that Houston Alabama game, that place it holds like 9,000 people. It was electric.
6 people.
It holds nobody, but like, it's insane. That atmosphere was crazy. Texas's new basketball arena, they've never cared about basketball in Austin. Suddenly, Texas built, I mean, they might not, given the recent news, I mean, maybe maybe that time came and went and like the moment's gone. But they built a new arena. It's smaller, it's cozier, it gets louder, it's so much better. I want Penn State and Ohio State to do that because I think Ohio State's probably the second answer, honestly. Like we have a terrible home atmosphere, Ohio State, as far as like top caliber college basketball programs. Ohio State, I don't want to make like blue blood tears or whatever, but like whatever your definition of it is of like an actual pretty good to great college basketball program, Ohio State has to have the worst home atmosphere, and it's because that gym sucks, dude. And I hate it. So I want Ohio State and Penn State to get new arenas for sure.
Why do you think it is about that with Ohio State? Because I've only been there once. This was 8 years ago, but it does seem a little off. It just seemed like a little too NBA-ish, like corporate-ish almost. Is that it, or is there something else that?
Yeah, it's we misread the future, I guess. And at the time when it was like 2000, it felt like that was where college sports were going. It's like big, like everything was big. Everything in the early 2000s was big. Everything. Right. Your clothes were big. You drove the big Hummer. Yeah, you had like a fish tank in the back that Exhibit put back there, and like everything,
of course,
huge rim on your car, big baggy shirt, everything was big. And that included, I think, like when it came time when Ohio State was like, we need to build a new basketball arena. They're like, we got to go big. Everything's big. It's got to be awesome. And I think what's happening now is as one, ticket prices are insane. Two, you're getting 4K on these televisions now. Just whatever, like the economy, so whatever. Make a laundry list of reasons. Like, I don't think you're gonna get like 20,000 people at a college basketball game.
That's asking a lot.
In Columbus, Ohio, to get like 19,000 every single night that the Buckeyes play. It's just not gonna happen. So why not like build an arena that holds like 11,000? That's more doable. I mean, that's kind of what like the Breslin. When we played Breslin, we're like, this is every time I played at Breslin Center, I was jealous because I was like, this is kind of the same shape, obviously, of the shot. It's just like built for college basketball instead of built for like Justin Timberlake concerts or whatever the hell we built the shot for, you know?
Yeah, no, right. Yeah, the Breslin's like built directly up too. Like if you ever sit in the upper deck, which is where I sit because I'm a plebeian, like it's almost like you're just climbing up a wall, just like free soloing. Like it is slanted.
Now. Dude, so the same for Assembly Hall, man. Indiana is like the scariest. You could shoot like Fear Factor there, dude. Just like hammer a few beers.
It looks crazy.
And then hammer just dude, today's Fear Factor challenge. We're gonna shotgun a couple beers and then try to walk down the stairs at Assembly Hall without face planting to our death. Like that's
perfect. I love that. There we go. Yeah, we have 2 seats for you in section 27. Here's 6 beers. Go get them. Yeah, I love that. Mark, this has been awesome. But before letting you go, I'm sorry, I got to hold you hostage here. I am a watcher of the dozen. You are on one of the teams there. I got 2 trivia questions for you.
Okay.
On your way out. And would you look at this? The niche category is 2007 to 2010 Ohio State versus Michigan State basketball. What?
Okay.
How crazy is that you're the guest for this question here? This is nuts. So the first question is, and this is going to pander to the Michigan State fans, which Michigan State players scored the most total points against the Buckeyes from 2007 to 2010? So who gave you guys the beats back then?
I have a vivid memory of this. I don't know if this is the answer, but I have one answer that comes to mind that I'm going with. Okay. This man's shaved head running around illegal screens in Columbus, Ohio, being set by Goran Sutan and Drew Namick. As he was lighting us up, and all of us, every time out, we're looking at each other like, are they going to call any of these illegal screens? And the rest were like, we're not. Tonight is Drew Neitzel's night. He is taking down #1 Ohio State. Unfortunately for you guys, he did not. We won the game, but Drew Neitzel went nuts on us in 2007 at home. Is that the answer?
So he is third place, actually.
He's third?
72 points, but combined from 2007 to 2010, Kalen Lucas lit it up with 91 points. And then Raymar Morgan was there like in that perfect window where like he just kept having pretty okay games, and he had 81. So he was in second place.
He's an Ohio guy too, Raymar.
Yeah. So there you have it. It was number 1 for him. Kalen Lucas. Yeah, he had like
Big Ten Player of the Year. I will say Kalen is kind of the forgotten, lost in history, Big Ten Player of the Year type guy that no one, I think if we had Big Ten Player of the Year questions on the dozen, and I had to just go through and list them all, I might forget Kalen Lucas. He's a guy that just kind of falls through the cracks there. It's sad, the whole like injury in the March Madness, whatever. No, I'm trying to end this on a happy note here, especially for you because this next one is, if there's any Buckeye fan listening, this one's for you. Ohio State's widest margin of victory from 2007 to 2010 was a 2009 conference tournament. You guys won 82-70. That's right. You had 4 teammates scoring in double figures on that night or afternoon, whatever that game was. Who were your 4 teammates that scored in double figures in the 82-70 victory? And this is 09. All right, so Evan Turner's definitely one of them because he doesn't pass. So he was definitely perfect. I would say probably I imagine Diebler is probably on that list. Correct. He's one of non Diebler. I would have to go with David Lighty. No, didn't. Sorry. This is a tough one. Dave was a Swiss Army knife, and he didn't know what he was. He'd have games where he'd score a lot. Other games he was playing defense. I guess that wasn't a scoring night. Who else could this have been on the 09 team? I mean, Will Buford. Yep. That's the other one. Yeah, Will Buford's one. And the fourth is tough. The fourth came off the bench. If that's going to help you at all here, because I did not remember this name when I went back and looked this up. So best of luck on this one. Fourth came off the bench. Yeah. Man, whoever I hope I'm not like still close with this guy because they're gonna kill me if
I know, right?
if I forget.
Avid listener of this show too, especially. So yeah, that's really gonna break his heart here.
I don't know, who is it.
Byron Mullins? Does that sound?
Oh yeah.
Dude, there we go. Byron Mullins.
BJ, my guy BJ, dude. I forgot BJ. I didn't forget BJ was on the team. I forgot BJ was on the 09 team. Like I got all the years mixed up. Yeah. BJ was great. He was a great dude. And yeah, I should have known that. Well, BJ's another guy that like he probably I'd have to go look up his game log. It feels like he'd have 0 points one night and then like 26.
Sure.
I don't think he ever scored 26, but that was a good trivia question.
Hey,
I literally played with those guys and I couldn't even remember the answer.
Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Had to ramp it off there, but yeah, no, thanks for entertaining me at the end there. Yeah, sorry for going over on time as well.
No, man. No worries.
Thanks for showing up again. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Is my mom like paying you on the side to be nice enough to do this? Like this is
no,
really I could come up with.
Big Ten basketball is you put that you dangle it's a sickness, man. You dangle that in front of me, I will chase that carrot to the ends of the earth. So yeah, I'm happy to come on and chop it up anytime, man. This is fun.
Even happier to talk to you. All the listeners know this. I've been talking about it all week. This is definitely the one I fangirl over the hardest right here, talking with you. So definitely a huge fan of yours. Thanks a lot, man. Titus and Tate Show. You guys already know what it is. I'll plug it anyway. Titus and Tate Show. Go check it out. You're the man, Mark, and everyone else. Hey, have a great weekend. Let's go get it. Go green. Love you all.